Welcome back to the Eric Krown Crypto channel, wishing you a happy lovely start to this Monday morning. It's a beautiful Monday, baby. It's beautiful over here in Helsinki, Finland, and there's plenty to discuss on price action. Bitcoin playing out a little bit of the short-term pullback they were looking for based off of last week's closure. What essentially does that mean for the next couple days to come, and then perhaps the few days after that, perhaps even just into the eternity of time is what we're going to be discussing today, or not, because who the hell knows. But more importantly, we're going to be looking at the more near term here as Bitcoin does play to move back down just below 30,000 bucks in the late evening hours for myself. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Starting off right over here on a more simplistic take with the Gaussian channel on the weekly, and we'll even be referencing the 5 day as well for CME specifically. Now, of course, CME and spot price action are pretty much 1-1 in this regard, and we did see something of critical importance here. Bitcoin has closed the weekly above the top side of the Gaussian channel here, which over the history of Bitcoin has been a pretty damn good indication that Bitcoin is going to go on a general tear. I'll bring you back to the last few iterations of this that we've seen. In this case over here, we did see one in May of 2019. Bitcoin just closing ever so slightly above, did come back down and retest the top side of it, but after that, pretty impressive run as Bitcoin did lift off for almost a 82.5% rally actually after that. If we go in reference to time before that, we do see back on over here, and of course, what was this, 2015? Bitcoin goes on for a 30% move tear and then actually pulls back pretty damn aggressively as well, as you can see. And then, of course, if we go even further than that, all the way back over to 2011, 2012, you can see Bitcoin close above right here. Boom, big move. Again, it doesn't look like much on the charts, but that's almost 100% move right there. And then coughs up most of it actually, and then continues to go upwards and onwards actually over the next couple of years. Anyways, the reason why I bring this one up is again because Bitcoin closed its first weekly above that Gaussian channel for the first time since this is going back to like December of 2021. Actually. So in this case, long-term, Bitcoin still poised likely for more on this rally. We've gone over, several areas of interest to the upside based upon that, but as we have seen in the past, there can be a bit of a pullback in many cases to the top side of the Gaussian channel. So I would issue a bit of a warning in this case for the next, for the early portion of this week, let's say, that Bitcoin can very easily pull back. I'm not saying that it's definitely going to pull back, but we've already seen we've already kind of seen a decent pullback, so perhaps I take that back, but it could be a little bit deeper is what I'm trying to say. Perhaps as low as about 29,000 bucks if we go here on the weekly. If we check the 5 day as well for CME, we can see the top side of the Gaussian channel is a little bit higher than that at 29,500. So I'd be having a range there essentially. If Bitcoin were to pull back to one of those regions, 29.5 or 29,000 even, I would be looking for big bounces from that region and very likely continuation, over the course of the next, maybe month and a half, or actually into August, as we looked at in yesterday's video. If you're looking for more long-term price action analysis rather than like the near term here, then I would definitely check out yesterday's video because that's still very much relevant. It'll probably be relevant for a while. That is also to say that as long as Bitcoin is above 29,000 bucks, that is fair game for that continuation of upside. And by contrast, Bitcoin starts to close back down below 29,000 bucks on these higher term timeframes. Well, that would be very, very concerning for this current rally. But until then, pullbacks are very likely just that, pullbacks before further continuation to the upside. Anyways, going through it now, I did also want to reference that 5 day did confirm that hidden bullish divergence that we identified coming off of last week, and also on spot price action, 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence with the weekly RSI getting back into that bullish control zone for the first time in quite some time as well, alongside volatility really taking up off of some of the lowest levels that we've ever seen ever, comparable to what we did see in September of 2020, and before that was January 2017 actually. Precipitating some pretty major moves actually. So in this case, that will have an upside bias based off of the based off of the RSI as a momentum oscillator, and even the weekly jewel is looking like it might be posturing for it might actually be posturing for an upside signal here as well. Still, want to see this one turn cyan. Anyways, yes, moving through it now, I do want to go into the more low-term timeframes. Let's go ahead and reference the 4-hour HPDR ranges, the old herpaderp right here, and we can see that Bitcoin has thus far bounced off of the bottom bottom side of the 4-hour range lows, the 50% range lows, I should say, relative to the historical returns. And in this case, that is basically right at $30,000. That is to say, if Bitcoin does start to close below 40,000, obviously below 40,000, but $30,000, perhaps I would be looking for that move somewhere down around 29,500-ish, let's say, would be the next area of interest. And then, at that point, see what happens there. If that area fails, then $29,000, somewhere within that pocket here, essentially. I'll just kind of draw it out if Bitcoin does pull back more. So in this case, as of right now, Bitcoin is obviously finding a bit of a short-term bounce off of $30,000. Nice psychological round even number. But I do think that there is certainly potential for more on this pullback, actually. The reason why I say that is if we go over here to stochastic momentum and start off with the 12-hour time frame, we can see that the 12-hour time frame on CME is going to have a fresh twist to the downside alongside extreme levels on volatility, and that is going to be remaining with downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below 31,100 on CME. 6-hour time frame, same thing, coming in from a very, very high level here as well. 31,200 could be the magic number right there. 4-hour time frame is going to be nosediving below $31,000, and hourly is probably, it's actually all the way down there as well, but still showing downside pressure below 30,500 basically. So, short and medium term timeframes suggesting a bit of a corrective pullback. Which is why I do say that, it could very easily come down to that 29.5, maybe even $29,000 region. But I would be looking for bounces there because the higher term time frame still, more or less in unison, as we did look at earlier, on the main chart. But even on the daily over here, daily stochastic momentum remains the upside as long as Bitcoin's above 27,150. 2-day time frame is vertical above 26,000 alongside a setup. 5-day, same thing. $29,000 basically the magic number right there, and the weekly just freshly turned up as well. Will be remaining with upside pressure as long as Bitcoin's above 29,100. So that is why I do say two things. One, in the near term, Bitcoin more likely to pull back. That pullback likely to be a higher low, and then continuation maybe later this week or next week, something like that. I think there's some economic events like not CPI but PPI. I don't even know what it is, man. It doesn't fucking matter. Just another justification for a move, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Probably later this week. And then, but at the same time, Bitcoin does start to close below $29,000. You will start to see this fail. You'll start to see Bitcoin, pop back into the Gaussian channel over here. And if that happens on a closing basis, that would be a damn good indication that this is the bull trap, guys. They trapped us. But not me. No, no, I would have gotten trapped in that too. But yeah, that would be essentially a failure condition, as far as I'm concerned. Until then, short-term, a bit of sideways and downside, completely fine. Assuming that Bitcoin does crack back below the 4-hour range lows. Until then, I guess if Bitcoin were to pop back up above the average of historical returns range on the 4-hour time frame, which is 30,850 on a closing basis, then I think that would probably be it, or as far as like the pullback goes. It would once again be pressure onto the upside. I'd be looking for a retest of last week's high, probably a little bit higher than that, towards 31.5, and then Bitcoin just probably does a Bitcoin thing and continues upwards and onwards. But for right now, early in the week, I would say if there's going to be a pullback, probably happens from this area. We've kind of already seen, like I said, a pullback emerge from here, but 29.5 to 29 even is not out of the question. So as long as Bitcoin's below 30,850, so big area right here. I'll just kind of mark this one off. 0 marks a spot, or X marks a spot, or XO means that you want to kiss the chart because maybe it's really pretty. And it is actually. It's quite a work of art here what Caretaker's done with the HPDR. All right, that's enough before I say some more stupid shit. Kiss your charts goodbye. I forgot to mention that yes, you can still get the Joulite for free for the first 30 days if you follow the directions in the link in the description below. And then also there is an affiliate link to the Apex Decentralized Exchange, which you may or not be finding some value in because it's a decentralized exchange. So that means that many people can use it who might not be able to use other things. So I'll let you be the decider of that. But that affiliate link will award you 5% off of your trading fees for the lifetime of your account. All right. Yeah. Good place to leave it off. As always, wish you the best. Take care. Much love, and see you hopefully Tuesday.